elevate. The stacking up losses, I'm handing them out, yeah, I had to go delegate. It feel like I'm floating, I'm lost in the moment, I swear I could levitate. They never believed that I would really fly, I had to go demonstrate. I had to set them straight. When you elevate, the stacking up losses, I'm handing them out.
What's up, guys? Welcome to another episode of the Mindset Cafe podcast. It's your boy, Devin, and as always, our special guest, our special friend, our special buddy on our Friday Night Lives, Nick. So today's topic, we're going to talk about building self-confidence as well as building self-worth, right? Or if you're struggling with that, what is it, that whole nature? So throwing you under the bus as usual, what is self-confidence and what is self-worth?
Two different definitions? Oh, yeah.
They're two different words.
True. Similar meaning. No, but to me, can you repeat the question?
What is the definition of self-confidence to you? And what is...
It's been a long day and a long week. So I'm playing catch up right now.
I mean, it's a simple question, but I get it.
All right, hold up. Wasn't ready for this. All right, go. I'm ready.
What do you think of this? When I edit this is live, my boy.
I got it.
So what is the definition of self-confidence and what is the definition of self-worth to you? Or what does it mean to you?
So self-confidence is your own belief in your own capabilities to, either pretty much accomplish a task or complete something that you set out or you tell yourself you're going to do. To me, that's like self-confidence. At least that's how you, in my perspective, that's how you build it, is by keeping your...
No, not how you build it. What is it?
Your belief in yourself.
There you go.
That's it.
What about self-worth?
Self-worth. What you...
She said, come on, Nick.
Self-worth. Pretty much like what you think you're worthy of, what you're pretty much like the whole thing, for example, like what your time is or your efforts or, I'm trying to break down the definition of the word worth.
I mean, you're the one that wanted to do this episode topic. So I figured that you had something in the gun, like, ready to
No,
fire
I saw Denny was the one that suggested it. So I was like, oh, that seems pretty good.
So what is your official definition of self-worth?
Self-worth. My official definition of self-worth is what you deem yourself worthy of, what you think you deserve.
Okay. So
there we go. Period. That's it. Cap.
So what is the worth that you basically establish with yourself, right? Like, what do you think you're worth? And that can go into different aspects of life, but they tie in together, and that's why I wanted to do them together when you had mentioned them, because it's one of those things where the more confident you are, the higher you're going to feel your self-worth is, right? Because you have more belief in yourself, you see yourself as a higher value. So if you're not confident in yourself, you're not going to feel that you're as worthy of either receiving your goals, your gifts, or anything like that, right?
What about you? Like, what does it mean to you? Oh no, I just thought about it because I was like, I want to know what he this is a genuine question. I actually thought, I was like, what is, like, I wonder what he thinks. Like, so what does it mean to you?
Thank you, Gabby, for joining. Gotta give it a shout out.
For coming on my question.
What's it called? So in going off of what you're saying and creating my definition of basically self-confidence and, self-worth, right? Self-confidence, when you think of that, it's when you talk about just confidence in general. If someone is confident, they're going to have their head held high, their chest is up, right? You believe in yourself. You basically would bet on yourself in any situation, right? At basically the top peak of what self-confidence is, I would always bet on myself, right? Doesn't even matter what it is. Like, we can playing basketball. I'm not the best basketball player, but I'm still going to bet on myself just because I'm that kind of confident person, right? But that's self-confidence, right? Self-worth is what you establish your value in a given situation or a given area of your life, whether it's, with your relationship, whether it's in work. Like, if you have a low self-worth in your own mind at work, you're going to basically be outperformed by other people or other people are going to step over you or claim your work and credit for your work, and you're not going to do anything about it because, again, you don't think that you're worthy of receiving that praise, right? In, let's say, a relationship standpoint, if you don't see yourself as a higher value, you're going to accept what it is, or whatever life presents you with. You're going to take the first thing and be like, this is the best I'm going to get. Like, I'm cool here, right? Like, you should always be shooting for basically the unattainable and basically go for that as your goal in anything in life, right? I mean, Gabby's outside my league. We both know that, but it's one of those things where, again, like, if I didn't have the self-confidence or the self, worth to myself, like it comes off in that as well. So she wouldn't have value, or, other people wouldn't have value in me or see value in me if I can't see value in myself first, right? Does that make sense?
That does. That was deep. Like, meaning, like, that was actually a good. Yeah.
So, I mean, I think the biggest part of today that I want to, kind of talk about too is I'm seeing a lot of people join. I'm not seeing a lot of comments. Is all I'm saying. But
all of a sudden,
with building self-confidence and with that kind of tied into self-worth, let's start off with confidence, right? So how would one, if someone's not naturally a confident person, or if someone's not naturally, like, it doesn't matter whether you're an extrovert or introvert, like if you're a shy person or you're the life of the party, that's not necessarily self-confidence, right? That's just your energy levels and your ability to talk and control a room. But with someone that is not, basically doesn't have the belief in themselves, how would you go about starting to build that confidence in yourself?
By putting in action.
And
so to go into what? Well, time out, player. Let me get there. So to kind of break it down a little bit more is, in my perspective, in my opinion, is you kind of gain the confidence through stacking a belief, meaning like through, like, I guess, I'm trying to find the right words here.
Use the words that come in your brain.
Trying. So pretty much, like, when you're trying to build your own confidence in yourself, it's, in a sense, it's like, do you trust yourself and what you kind of in any action or anything that you tell yourself that you're going to do? Obviously, that doesn't automatically happen. What I'm trying to, I guess, like, go there is, like, if you tell yourself you're gonna do something, for example, like, okay, I'm gonna get a workout in, and let's just say you haven't worked out in a while, or I'm gonna start my meal prep on Monday, right? To keep it health and fitness related. Now, when you actually do the action of doing what you said you were going to do, even though that might be the first small step, that's I guess, like a stack, or like a win for your confidence.
Okay.
Because now it's starting. Now that's like your starting point in your confidence to get built up. You're still not gonna walk around saying, "Oh, I'm the fittest person on earth. Oh, my nutrition is 100 on lock." Obviously, so your confidence isn't bulletproof when it comes to those things.
Right.
Right. Now, every time you're able to perform or follow through with the actions of whatever that thing may be. So you start to set up a good routine when it comes to your workouts, or when your nutrition is on point. You're not, you get to that point where you're not thinking about cheating, where you're not so concentrated on having junk food, and you're pretty much on that health kick per se. Now I feel like that's when, like, your confidence in that sense of working towards that, now it starts to get elevated. So what I'm trying to get at, to answer your question, is by putting in the small actions, that's small, pretty much like tactical actions towards what the specific thing is. That's how you gain confidence in that certain area. Because it could also be where, like, you're not going to be confident in every single thing. For example, like, when you say, are you a confident person? Yeah, I could be a confident person. But, like, how confident are you in every single, in any aspect? You know what I mean? Does that make sense?
Yeah. So, I mean, I think, if I'm getting this right, like, you're tying basically confidence to, like, trusting yourself, right?
Yeah.
So, like, the actions and stuff that you're taking, And if you tell yourself you're going to work out, you work out and you got that win, it's now you're able to trust what you tell yourself you're going to do, and you do it when you say you're going to do it.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Is that what you're saying?
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, no, I definitely agree with that. I mean, it's one of those things where that self-confidence, just like anything in life, it comes from trust, like you said, right? I'm confident in you as a business partner, as a friend, because of the actions and stuff that we've, gone through together and you've done. So it builds my confidence in you, right? In our relationship, right? So same thing goes for like self, right? So if you're honest and trustworthy within yourself, if I tell myself I'm going to work out, if I tell myself I'm not going to have a cheat meal, and I follow that and actually am truthful to myself, it's one of those things where you build up the confidence in yourself. If you face an issue and you tell yourself like, I'm going to find a way, there is no option B, like this, I'm going to figure it out. And you eventually figure it out. It doesn't matter if it happens that day, that week, that month, whatever, but you put in the effort and you went through that grind to figure out what that solution was. Now, all of a sudden, your self-confidence gets built, right? And so that growth alone in truth to yourself, yes, I agree 100%, builds confidence. And it does, build your confidence. Some of the comments, finally, we're getting some comments. All I'm saying, again, you guys are some lazy in the comments today. Come on.
Crickets. Monica said, self-confidence is self-love and building yourself to your full potential. That's facts. No,
Explain it.
I agree with that. Kind of like reiterating like off of what you said as well, like that self-love. You develop that love. Well, one, if you don't love yourself, we got a problem. That's basis right there. But everybody should love themselves.
All right, Justin Bieber.
Calm down. I'm not a believer. Sorry, bro. And building yourself to your full potential. It's starting with that foundation and then building off of that foundation through proof of action that you're putting in, that starts to grow. And that's how I feel like your confidence grows. And that self-love aspect of it, it's like when I start to, it's weird. Like I just started to have this like kind of like mind frame where it's like anybody can have us state a certain thing, but it's more so like how much though. Let's put a quantity to it. So I can say I have self-love, but how much of it? Does that make sense? Well, why are you laughing?
You know when you just hold back a comment. Not even gonna say it. It's a family show.
But does that make sense? Like how much do you love yourself? And like how much?
Man, the way you're phrasing that, like I just got comebacks for days.
But like how much do you trust yourself? And it's all backed up by kind of like when you are put to those situations to ask, I think subconsciously you get asked yourself like, did I actually put enough work in to have that much trust in myself to have that to complete this task, or have that characteristic, or have that personality, or whatever the hell, to portray confidence in myself. Does that make sense?
Yeah. No, I mean, I get it. Can you still see the screen and everything on your end?
Me?
Yeah.
Yeah, I can see the comments. Why?
No, for some reason my thing went black, so I just want to make sure the Instagram video was still going live.
Yeah. Patty commented, there we go. Self-confidence is not caring what, I think that's others. Self-confidence is not caring what others think about you or what you do. It's all about what you think of yourself. That's good.
Explain it.
Yeah, let me explain everything.
I was trying to fix something. Now that it's fixed. All right. Exactly. I mean, that goes into not caring about what others have to say about you or think about you, and you're thinking about yourself. It's because, again, you believe in yourself, and other people are going to, no matter what stage in life you're at, no matter whether it's professionally, whether it's fitness, like always someone's going to have a comment, right? And usually that comment I mean, not to sound like our teachers and our parents back in the day, but it's usually because they're upset with the fact that they're stagnant or that they're unhappy, quote unquote, with their life. You know, they're unhappy with themselves, but it's true, right? There's something that is driving them to basically try to pull you down. Like we've talked about, basically like the crabs in the bucket, right? Naturally, when you start to grow or succeed or build more confidence, someone's going to see that doesn't have as much self-confidence or self-worth within themselves, and they're going to try to bring you back down to their level, right? Because people don't like to see, unfortunately, a lot of people don't like to see you outdo them or basically become better than them, right? In reality, if you actually promote that and applaud that, your subconscious starts to reward you because it knows that you value growth, you value that journey, and you value basically results. So if you start, talking negative, if you're a person that's basically doing that kind of stuff, then you have to realize that your subconscious thinks that that's what you want, and that's why you kind of are stuck where you're at, right? So you can't be stuck and tied to what other people think, because now you're just spending time wasted on what others are saying about you, and it's like people are going to talk shit. Like, it just happens. Like, if I'm focused on every single person that talks shit or thinks I'm A, B, and C, it's like that's time I'm not spending working on getting to my goal, right?
Right. Yeah, and I think tying that in, it goes back to internally, because it's like, even if people were to put their 2 cents in and their opinions or try to weigh you down, right? Like what the example that you said with the old school parents, just because like they are limited to what they saw, what their full potential was, back in the day, where things are just different now, and the opportunities and it's just completely different, right? But the thing is, like, if you internally, you yourself know that as a person, you're somebody that doesn't tend to follow through things, or you're somebody that is easily that easily gives up, or that's easily swayed, or you just never follow anything through, or you just pretty much like your building blocks aren't strong, that's when they're able to crumble it.
Bricklayers that we talked about.
Bricklayer, bitch. It's like, your confidence is your self-confidence is easily faltered, and it's like that's when it's like your bar is low. You know what I mean? But if you're throughout your lifespan or whatever the fuck, it's like, yourself that whenever any task or anything that comes your way that you like come across, you follow through, you never give up. And it's like, you set your mind to something. It's like, even if you didn't accomplish it, you literally left everything on, like everything, like there's nothing left to do. That's when your confidence is like at the peak, or at least at the peak of its capability at that time frame. Right. It's not as easily swayed or faltered by by anything or anybody else. Right. So that's why no matter what, and again, as kind of not to sound negative, but even if it was your parents telling you that, oh, it's not ideal for you to do this, it's not ideal for you to do that, that it doesn't really take too much toll on your own confidence, because you deep down internally know what you are capable of. Right. So it goes back to your actions, to yourself, your trust in yourself.
And I think, like, also, it's not even just what you're capable with, but it's also with the fact that the effort, and what you'll put into something to get it done. Right. So it's not just the fact of like, because it does suck to lose, or it does suck not to accomplish something, but that's when you learn, right? And that's when you come back the next time even stronger. But now that you left it all on the table, and it's like, you can't be hard on yourself. It's like, you don't win everything in life, right? That's just the nature of it. But if you left everything on the court and there's nothing else you could have done, it's like, you should be proud. It's like, yeah, it sucks that you lost, but you should be proud of yourself that you did that, because now there's no regret in your performance or your work effort or anything like that. Nicole basically says, you build your confidence through that trust with yourself and having that positive self-talk, right? And that's where I was kind of talking about, when you are talking in negative about others or trying to bring others down, as well as if you allow others to kind of creep into your ear and talk and basically let that negative talk in, you start to basically believe it and say it to yourself as well, right? It's not the fact that you can't do something, but if you start to believe that you can't, then you won't, right? And so the only thing that's stopping you, this is actually a little post that I made today. It's funny enough that we're talking about this, because I made this before we even had the topic in mind. But the only thing that's basically stopping you between you and your goals is the story that you're telling yourself of why you can't achieve your goals, right? So the only thing between you and your goals is basically this, what you're telling yourself, or how you're talking about yourself, and why you've given reason to believe you can't achieve that, or why you're not of value to achieve that, right? So that's where it goes into, when you are talking about yourself and you're, looking at yourself, it's like you have all the tools you need to overcome anything in life that is thrown at you right now, right? Life's not going to throw anything at you that you can't handle, or you can't find a way. And you have to have that mindset and that confidence in yourself that, let's go. Like, I was built for this, right? This is, I'll figure it out.
Capital LFG exclamation point.
So I think that's huge. Huge what Nicole says on that. And then she mentions also that you surround yourself by people who actually lift you up and who are good for your soul. Yeah. All right.
So
but no, that's why you surround yourself though with friends that actually want to see you win, right? And you'll have those friends that fake hype you up and stuff, and if you notice it, like, honestly, just start to dilute your time with them, because you already know it's not going to progress you, and they're not trying to see you win anyways, right? So why have that negativity in your circle, right? So surround yourself with like-minded people that want to win in life, in their life, and that's going to bleed over into your life, because if you're around winners, you're going to be the next winner too. If you're around losers, typically you're going to start to do things that they do, and you're going to end up following suit, right? If you want to level up, try to get in a circle that is higher than you.
Bro, it, like you said, it's just crazy. Like when you kind of see something or post something and it's just perfect timing. When you said that, I think it was just like earlier, I saw like one of those like motivational posts when you're just going on Instagram. It was Ray Lewis, and he was saying that when an eagle sees another eagle flying next to him, that bird is probably another eagle. You won't really see a pigeon flying at the altitude that an eagle flies. So if you look around, if a pigeon looks around, or a bird looks around, and he sees other pigeons at the altitude he's flying, guess what kind of bird you probably are? You're probably a fucking pigeon.
And I mean, no, I definitely get it. It's true, but it's not. I mean, you may be a pigeon or you may be an eagle, but you just haven't leveled up, right? And so it's one of those things where you're holding yourself back to the same capabilities as a pigeon, even though you have more tools in your arsenal, right? So the way I want to kind of tie this in, to like self-worth, right, is we'll still touch back on it because they are so deeply intertwined. But there was an analogy that I saw in a video, and honestly, I can't like quote where I saw this. It was a while back, and I've seen different iterations of it over time too. But if I was to give you, to ask if, pulled out of my wallet right now, $100 bill and said, I'm gonna give this to you. Do you want it? You'd be like, yeah, it's a $100 bill. Why not? The value is $100, right? If I take the $100 bill and I start stomping on it on the ground and I'm like, do you want it? I'm like, yeah, it's a fucking $100 bill. Like, just give it to me, right? I crumble it up. I, throw it in the trash. I pull it back out. Do you want it? Yeah, just give it to me, dude. It's a $100 bill. The value of the $100 bill doesn't diminish in the state it's in. It's still a $100 bill. You still want it because it knows it's a $100 bill. You know it's a $100 bill, right? Things in life are going to happen. You're going to get stepped on. You're going to get thrown down, right? But you pick yourself back up and you still have your value, right? You're not going to win everything in life, but that doesn't mean your value gets, taken down a notch, right? The other thing, the other analogy I want to kind of tie into it, it's similar to that, but in a different way, is basically a dad had this old car, didn't tell the daughter what it was, but he told her, you can keep basically the cash that you get for it, but I want you to do a few things before you end up committing to any of the deals. She's like, okay. He's like, go down to the local like, used car dealership and see what you can get for it. They offer, $1,000. She was like, dang, like, Dad, they're going to give me $1,000 for this. He's like, okay, now you're going to take it over to, the actual dealership. What can you get for this? Oh, we'll give you, $10,000 for this. right? She's like, oh, wow, like that's crazy. They're going to give me even more. Like I got a better deal. She's like, all right, now you're going to take it over to this specialist, this car specialist or, you know, collector or whatever. See how much they'll give for you. I'll give you $100,000 for that car right now. The car didn't change. The state of the car didn't change, right? It was where that car was presented and if it was in the right circle to get the value that it is worth. So if you're in placing yourselves in quote unquote a used car dealership, you're gonna basically seen with that value, right? But if you're placing yourselves in the right circles, in the right areas, like and around the right people, your value naturally goes up to the surrounding people, but you're gonna feel higher value as well, right? So it kind of goes back into that you are who you surround yourself with, you know, kind of thing as well.
Those are two pretty damn deep analogies as far as like self-worth. I saw a comment from
Nicole said she wants the hashtag bricklayer bitch on a shirt.
that's the next
in the works.
But to kind of go off of what you said about self-worth too, you mentioned it at the very beginning. It's kind of like I think what holds a lot of people back is, like you said, it goes with the confidence thing. It's like you're not able to excel or get to your potentially what you're capable of, if you don't see like what you're worthy of. You know what I mean? And I think like most of the time, like a lot of external factors, kind of like the whole what you surround yourself with, a car dealership type thing, is comes into a big play, because it's like you also have to individually, like to yourself, kind of know and have that awareness that it's like, okay, am I in a current, you know, whether it's a job or like, you know, your friend group or even a relationship where it's like, are you always kind of being like
Negative Nancy?
Huh?
Negative Nancy?
Yeah, exactly. Like, I don't want to say the word like degraded because that's a little aggressive, but it's like,
That's true though. I get what you mean.
You know what I mean? Like if they're not uplifting you, if they're not showing you or like, you know, kind of pushing you to your full potential. And there's a difference between somebody being hard on you, because like, you know, like some of your toughest like coaches or people in your life are the ones probably that love you the most because they know what you're capable of. That's separate from like somebody that's just, you know, hindering you or fucking trying to tear you down. You know, like having that awareness that if whatever circle or whatever car dealership you're in is literally not helping you progress or be like the best person that you can be, it's like it is up to you to get yourself out or to pretty much bring yourself to another like to a better situation, to a better surrounding. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And like the thing is, like, I guess it depends what you're talking about, but like I can understand how like that might be tough when it comes to like, unfortunately, like, yeah, okay, this is like the easiest. I'm not saying anybody in particular, okay? I'm just saying like it's one of the easiest examples because it's sad, but you see it a lot where it's like when people are kind of like stuck in like a relationship, that they can get out of, but they can't get themselves out of. It's like they're bound.
Did you drop this pen?
Shut up. No, it's not me. No, dude. No, but it's like, you know, they can't get themselves out, or they don't make the right decision, that conscious decision to get themselves out of that situation. Sometimes, bro, it's sad because it's like, I've seen it firsthand. It's like, bro, like, you know what's right and wrong. You know what's black and white. And it's like, there's no one has the power to free you. And besides yourself, but it's because they don't see their self-worth.
Yeah, but that's also because of the external factor. I mean, that's the easiest example to explain, but the hardest to explain. It's the easiest because it's the first one that comes to mind, but also there are some other like psychological aspects that come with those kind of things, whether it's abusive relationships, whether it's physical, emotional, you know, just mental, verbal, like all those kind of things. But the easiest way to tie it back without getting too deep into that aspect, because it is, you know, there is a lot more deeper stuff to it. But you have to think of you're surrounded with the only person that is allowing you to be, you know, surrounded with because of that situation, right? Well, usually you get cut off from the world in those kind of situations. So now your circle by force, essentially, is the person that is basically creating this worth in your own head of you, right? And that's, again, it's such a weird topic to talk about. It's, yes, they know that they should leave and all that kind of stuff, but there's other ties that bring you back and all those kind of things that are psychological. But so I don't want to go too deep into that kind of stuff, but just the overall realm of it, where your circles dictate your self-worth to yourself, right? So ease back and bridge back over from going that route and going down the rabbit hole. But it's who you hang out with, like we said, but also if you notice in the story of the car, right? And how what you're saying about your people should be lifting you up and pushing you to your potential because they see it within you. And it's not because they're doing it because they want to just bring you down or they're being mean. It's because they know that you're half-assing it when you can actually be great, right? And that's where the true circles are, right? Is if I know you could be up here and you're only, executing stuff down here, it's like, and I'm pushing like, yo, like, what the fuck are you doing? Like step your shit up. Like, I know you have more, like, and you're like, oh, well, this, and it's like, bro, stop fucking, like, just knock it off. Like, why? We both know you could do it. Just fucking do it, right? And it's like those kind of things, right? Versus being like, oh yeah, it is tough, whatever, and just letting it go, right? So that value of the car in that same circle, it's the surrounding people dictated what the value of the car was. So if you're surrounding yourself with the right circle, they should see you of higher value than you even see yourself. And that will allow you to grow into that value because you're being told you're of this great worth, and you naturally start to believe it because you're told it as well. Just like the opposite in that relationship, you're told you're worthless, you start to believe it at a certain point, right? So if you surround yourself with people telling you that this is the best you're ever going to get and this is the best you're ever going to be, again, you start to believe it. So you have to be careful of who you surround yourself, who you tell your goals to. Like, you have friends, yes. Then you have best friends, or like your actual circle, right? And then you have that 1, 2, or 3 people that you can basically tell anything to, that good or bad, they know they're going to either push you or they're going to have your back, right? And so if you're not identifying who those people are, that's the thing you need to do. And you can't tell your goals and your dreams to just the general public and just to everyone. I mean, honestly, before we even opened the gym, like, and I would tell clients, I told anyone, I don't give a shit. Like, I would be like, yeah, I'm going to open a gym, blah, blah, blah. And then you would see the people like, oh yeah, that's cool. Or then you would have the other people, basically you could tell that just didn't believe that it was going to happen because I wasn't, I had been saying it for a year or two, but it wasn't the fact that I didn't do it yet. Like, I knew it was like, doesn't matter when it's going to happen, but it's going to happen. Like, there is no, and we both are the same way. There is no plan B. Like, I will figure it out. You will figure it out. Like, we're going to make this happen. If we said this is happening, it's happening, right? It may not happen today, but it's going to fucking happen. I promise you, right? So it's that belief. And when you tell people that basically see that goal too big for their mind, that goal was never planted in their mind, right? That dream was never their dream, and it was never even in their realm of dreaming. So by you telling them that, it seems, illogical for that to even be a reality of someone.
Yeah.
But at the same time, there's other people doing it. So it's not, it's not impossible. If someone else can do it, you can fucking do it. The only difference between you and them is they've already done it and you're on the journey to do it.
Yeah.
Right. So you have to have the confidence in yourself and start surrounding yourself with better people that are going to make sure that you push yourself and don't slack off on those days that you just don't feel like doing it.
Yeah.
Right.
You gotta stay away from the toxic people.
I guess that's one way to put it.
Patty said, sometimes it's just comfortable to stay in the situation, even when it's a bad situation. And I think that's when you need to know what your self-worth is. Agreed, Patty.
But I would have to say though, it's like, it's not that it's comfortable. It's comfortable is a way to put it. Yes. It's easier to stay in a situation, even if it's a bad situation, because that's what you currently know. In any area of life, it's hard to make change. People like to just go with the flow. They like to be in a routine. They like to have their life, what they think is figured out. right? So that natural staying, this is where I'm at. Yes. It's difficult to make change, not because it's comfortable of where you are, but it's because it's uncomfortable changing anything in life.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So that's where I would have to say, like, yes, I agree. But also it's one of those things where it's not comfortable being in a bad situation. You don't wake up in a comfortable state, right? You don't wake up being like, this is gonna be a great day. Like I love my life. That's not comfortable, right? You're just okay with your life because you don't want to go through the unknown.
Yeah.
Right. Because the unknown is what's on the other side of the door of you leaving, even though that's where the grass is really greener on that side.
Mm-hmm.
You know, in this situation.
I feel like in a sense too, it's like, again, just speaking more general terms, not specifically about anything. But it comes down to like, how bad do you want it? Like, like you said, like, it's like with the changes that need to happen, like you may know the changes that need to happen or that you need to undergo, but it's like you stay in that comfortable, that comfortable state, like, because like you're not, I think like, you don't want, like, I guess like you don't want to know, or you don't want it that bad to get to the better aspect, or, you know what I mean? So like, kind of, I guess to tie it back into like, I guess in health and fitness kind of perspective, when most people want to go on like a fitness journey, mm-hmm. right? I feel like some people, and correct me if I'm wrong, I feel like some people like almost don't see themselves worthy of like that healthy, like kind of, or actually I shouldn't say it like that. It's more so like, one, I feel like a lot of people have a skewed perception of what a healthy like lifestyle, because they think it's just all chiseled, like super like 6% body fat, and like, and that's kind of like the sad thing about it. But then I feel like it hinders a lot of people on actually, one, getting started on like making the right decisions of like, getting their nutrition, their workout regimen and in line, and even getting started or sticking to it, because then at some point they feel like they're not worthy or they're not capable of attaining that. I feel like that's what like a lot of people kind of struggle with.
And but that kind of ties back into what we were originally saying. And yes, I agree with what you're saying. And it's not the fact that they don't feel capable. It's that their past actions or past experiences or their current circle is not allowing them to feel like this time can be different.
That's okay. That's right? What I was trying to say. Yeah,
so it's not the fact that they don't feel capable. It's the fact that they haven't built that trust in themselves, like you were saying in the beginning, where they've proven to themselves that this time really can be different. But by starting and finishing day one, finishing day two, you start to slowly build that confidence. Like you don't build a house in a day, right? You don't build a wall in a day, right? A big wall, right? but you don't build like these actual foundational things in one day. Just like you don't break a habit in a day, mm-hmm. right? So it takes time to build that confidence within oneself, but it's important to have the circle or a surrounding group of people that do motivate you or push you or allow you to believe that this is going to be different this time, that you have the tools necessary to actually do it. Now, all it comes down to is your dedication. And one of the biggest things that, I just want to touch on Patty's things. I know her things on the screen. But in that same regard, like your home life and everything like that also can be an issue. And I'm not saying leave your family, leave your, all that. It's like, this is one of those things where you have a talk with your spouse or, your spouse and your kids or whatever. And now you try to change together. Right. And so even if it's not currently a certain way or the most ideal way, every time you try to change, if you're going home and everyone else is eating McDonald's, it's like, it's that much harder for you to stay on course. Right. But if you can slowly get them to be a part of that circle, that motivational side with you, and get them to change, or you start to change, you'll have that ripple effect on them, right? You'll start to see them changing, or they'll start to see you changing, and they want to change naturally as well, because no one wants to be the weakest link in a group, right?
Yeah, so you are not the weakest.
So, but in that, like, it's one of those things where your dreams are your dreams, right? Your goals are your goals. So if a goal seems unrealistic to someone, they're going to try to bring you down so that your goal now is in their reality or their realm, right? Mm-hmm. But that was never placed in their mind, so it shouldn't ever be in their mind. That's why you shouldn't tell your dreams and your goals to everybody, right? Because now they're going to do things and try to say things to bring you back down. But if I never told that person at the same time, they're just going to see me leveling up, and then they're going to be like, oh shit, that's crazy, like, you know, and then they're going to try to bring me back down, but I'm already up the hill. Sorry about it, you know. You know, so that in that regard, like, I would have to say, like, it's not that they don't have the trust in themselves, they just haven't built the trust in themselves yet. Yeah, you know,
it's like on a time frame, I guess.
Yeah, it's, I mean, backed
by action,
right? And everything takes time. Everything of value takes time, right? You don't build a relationship, right? We didn't build, you know, this partnership, and just the first time we met, we're like best friends, you know. It was like, you know, it wasn't like stepbrothers, like, you know.
Did we just become best friends?
Yeah. But at the same time, like, it's built over time, right? You see the actions I did, I saw the actions you were doing, and that mutual respect and that confidence in each other's abilities started to form what is now, you know, our business partnership, our friendship, everything around that, right? Again, it took time, right? So that goes with yourself. Yourself is first in all these things. So when we talk about having relationships, you have to have a relationship with yourself, right? And if you don't have a good relationship with yourself, how can you expect to have a good relationship with anyone else? Because they're going to see how you treat yourself, how you talk to yourself, your trust to yourself. And if you can't be trustworthy to yourself, how are you gonna be trustworthy to me?
Yeah, the person that you spend the most time within that circle that you're talking about is you. Yeah, because you spend the most time. And actually, saying this, I think Nicole was the one that said it a little earlier. It's positive self-talk. You know what I mean? And I understand, like, that. Just like anything, like action, practice, because it's like, you know, we can wish for confidence, we can wish to, you know, believe or have more self-worth in our own perspective, but it doesn't just come by magic. You know, it doesn't come with a snap of a finger. Right. You know what I mean? It's repetitive, intentional action and practices of, like, even when you're by yourself. You know, like, when you're put to the test, when nobody's looking, like, how do you talk to yourself? What is the first thoughts that come into your brain? You know what I mean? Whatever it may be, whatever you know, if it's a workout or anything pertaining to, like, food or whatever, or even just doing the right thing. You know what I mean? Like, or doing a task at work or whatever, doing right by somebody. You know what I mean? It's like, during those moments, like, nobody really knows, or no one can make the biggest I guess, like, influence in what your actions will be besides you. Right. You know what I mean? Because, like, if you take the right step by, like, creating that positive, you know, initial reaction, initial intention, or whatever immediately, and you do it repeatedly, constantly, you have a way bigger percentage of being successful in building up your confidence and self-worth. You know, negating anyone else's negative bullshit.
No, definitely. I mean, I don't disagree with you on any of that, you know, and knowing that it takes time, and knowing that, you know, like you said, yes, you're in a circle and you have your friends and you have your support system, but at the end of the day, you spend the most time with yourself and you're part of that circle, right? So you are still, you know, your own relationship, right? And that's one of the most important things, whether you need to focus on improving your mindset, your physical standpoint, your, you know, emotional or spiritual, whatever the case may be, like, you have to also be able to reflect on your own relationship with yourself, right? When at the end of the day, you know, when you're looking back on your day, like, how did you treat yourself that day? Were you honest with yourself? Did you do the things you said you were going to do? Did you, you know, fuel your body or feed your body the things that you wanted to feed it with? Or did you succumb to, you know, outside influences and that stuff? I'm not saying that you can't, you know, eat a cheat meal here and there and stuff like that, but it's one of those things that if you told yourself you weren't and then you did, you just lied to yourself. Yeah. Right. So, I mean, and I had this thought when you were talking too, and I was trying to think about it, and that's why I was just kind of going off on a weird tangent because I was trying to remember what I was actually going to say.
I was following your eyes. Your eyes were telling another story.
Yeah, because I was like, "Fuck, dude, what was I actually going to talk about?" Like, right when you stopped talking, I was like, "You're about to stop talking." I was like, "Please don't stop talking." I lost what it was, and then you literally just stared at me. I was like, "Shit, he definitely just stopped." But what I was going to say is, it reminded me actually of like, why did we create that U versus U challenge? Right? So we have the U versus U challenge, and this isn't like one of our low-key Strive promotions, even though I'm saying the name right now. And if you do want to come to Strive, come to Strive. But it's one of those things where on our website as well, and I'll even put a link to just the PDF in the show notes for this. We have the U versus U challenge, which is a self-accountability chart. So if you don't know where to start on just building your self-confidence and basically being truthful to yourself, it's literally a sheet that there's no winner to it, except for if you accomplish it, like you won for yourself. Like no one else is going to know whether you did it or didn't do it. Mm-hmm. You could have a checked off sheet every single day. No one knows if you actually stuck to that. Like, yes, your body should tell a different story in terms of like, you should look one way at the start and a different way at the end if you do it right. But at the end of the day, no one knows what actually happened between day 1 and, basically day 77, because it's 11 weeks. But it's mainly for you to start building that trust and that confidence within yourself. So again, you can continue doing the things that you want to do.
Yeah.
Now I started talking to you for what you were going to say.
Yeah, honestly. Yeah. I was like, it's like I'll think of something and it's like you just stop talking. I'm like, oh shit. But to kind of go off of, God damn it. I forgot what I was going to say. I was going to ask you. That's what I was going to do. It was a question that just, curious. Obviously.
Usually you're curious when you have a question. Just.
Thanks. I'm sure this is going to be something like in the past. It could be it can related to anything. What was a moment for you personally that I guess your confidence on anything wasn't at an all-time high, and like how did you I guess overcome it, or pretty much get past that certain thing, whatever it may be? You can take a second.
I mean, I don't think that it's hard because
you're confident in everything.
No, but it's not like some people will say like I'm cocky, and it's not that I'm cocky. I am a confident person, right? There's a difference between cocky and confident, right? I'm not, and you know this firsthand, like, I'm not the person that we could walk into a random party, and I'm going to start walking around talking to everybody, and that's just my natural thing I do. I do it for a reason, but it's something I have to force myself to do. And it's not because I'm not confident. It's just I'm not comfortable in doing that style of communication, right? Just out of the blue, talking to people I don't know, right? Also, it's just something I don't like to do, right? But again, for not feeling confident at any given point, I don't think and it's going to sound bad the way I'm saying it, but there hasn't been a time, I don't think there has been a time where I've lost my self-confidence and my confidence within myself for any given reason, because I've always had the mindset of there's always a solution to every problem. And I might be frustrated with myself, or I might doubt the journey that I'm taking, but I've never wavered in confidence that I'm going to figure it out. Right. When I started my personal training business, when I left the gym, I just pulled the trigger and went private in personal training. And I was like, well, shit, I got to figure it out, right? And it was one of those things where it was scary. And did I know if I knew I had all the skills to do it at that moment? No. But did I know that I had that natural ability to basically not give up on figuring it out? And if one door closed or if something didn't work out, I knew I was just going to try something else. And I would keep trying until it worked. Again, I've always been the kind of person that if I wanted to make something work, I end up making it work. And that's not first time, shit just works out for me. It's because I have a drive that allows me to, or it's almost kind of like a curse too. Because I won't stop until I figure it out. Right. And you've known this, when we were trying to figure out certain problems, I'll literally lose sleep and wake up the next morning and be like, I got it. That's just, my brain just doesn't turn off in that manner. Right. And it's one of those things where I think that it's important when you do have self-confidence that realize that there are going to be obstacles, there's going to be changes in your life that are uncomfortable, and you may not be confident or as confident with your general situation, but you should be confident within yourself that you're going to figure out the next step, right? So I would say that would be my answer, I guess, if that kind of answers your question.
No, it does.
I mean, and I know that it sucks when, you know, you're talking about building confidence, stuff like that. Like, obviously, I've built my confidence over the years and stuff, and obviously, I'm not saying I'm the most confident out of everyone, but at the same time, I would bet on myself for anything because I know my work ethic and I know my relentlessness of basically figuring out a way to do it, right? That's it. I still flip the script. You asked the question, so you got a story. Tell it. Share it.
I mean, the general gist of like believing all money in, rest in peace. That's it. I've always kind of had that myself, but I can think of, I guess, like if I thought of like a certain time frame where it's like, you know, I didn't have, you know, my confidence skill in that specific thing wasn't at the highest it could be, was when we first like decided to do this. Was I confident that I would do anything that it took to be, you know, successful in every milestone that we set? Yeah, I was confident that I would never give up. It's like, okay, yeah, like, all right, bro, this is it. Like, till the wheels fall off, all sense, so, you know. But like when the little stuff, like, you know, when we first opened, when it was just me and you, like when it first hit me, like, oh fuck, bro, like I need to sell memberships and like, you know, things like that, or talk to people about memberships or even money. Keep in mind, like I never came from a sales background or anything. I've never sold any. Well, let me reframe. Aside from like person, because everything is sales. Like you sell yourself to, you know, your boss, your employer.
You sold yourself?
No, like to your job, your employers. You know, your any previous relationships. You sell yourself,
right?
But like as far as like literally speaking, like a membership or dollar signs, and a monetary exchange, like. Never have I really done that. I came from a medical background. I came from Kaiser, bro. Like, you know, so my confidence level in that specific thing wasn't the highest. And like little things like that, I was just like, fuck. Remember when you and I were like, and Denny too, would like practice those kind of like talking to each other about like sales and stuff. See, like that feeling of like, I was scared, bro. Like I was scared, like, fuck, can I do this?
Yeah, but the important thing, I'm going to cut you off right there just because like, yes, you were scared, right? Same time, so was I. But it wasn't the fact that, you know, but it wasn't the fact that you weren't confident in yourself because like you said, you were going to do anything and figure it out. You weren't confident in your sales ability, but you were confident in yourself to learn the sales skills that you needed.
Right.
And I mean, even as a business owner, you know, when we first had our first employees and trainers and stuff like that, like now it gets real because now all of a sudden other people rely on you to continue doing the things you say you're going to do, right? So more weight gets added on. And it's like, were we confident in every aspect, every step? No, you may not be confident with the stage that you're in, but you should be confident within yourself to figure out the things you need to do to accomplish everything within that given stage. Yeah. Right.
Mm-hmm. And I think like that, I do know, like that's essentially where I was like, you know, kind of leading into is like it's just a matter, like, I guess within that time frame and that certain area that you're lacking confidence in, it was just a matter of time that, like, even if in the fact of that, my confidence in sales and in the beginning, you know, kind of being in that leader position and pretty much running a business, it's like, it wasn't an all-time high until it's like, you just do the actions and you rely on the kind of like essentially that confidence of like, no matter what, I gotta figure this out and I'm gonna figure it out. And then you just put the action in. And then as like, obviously you use the time to put the quality reps in and make the adjustments. And as long as, again, you intentionally put that work in, that the confidence starts to build up. And then it's like, ta-da, currently you're at where you're currently at with more room to grow.
Right.
Which, you know, translates to everything, I think, for every individual, and, you know, when it comes to like their fucking life, health, fitness,
I mean, it does.
relationships.
I mean, 100% it does. Like it all boils down to, again, your confidence and that tying into the worth that you've given yourself to accomplish whatever you want to accomplish, right? And you may not feel like you have it now, or maybe you've been around circles that haven't allowed you to feel like that. So again, it's going to take time for you to feel fully confident in yourself to figure it out. But the first stage is making that uncomfortable step, but the step that you know you need to take.
Mm-hmm.
So if you know you need to take that step, then you have to take it.
Mm-hmm.
If you tell yourself you're going to take it by a certain date, do it. If it doesn't work out, it doesn't work out. You figure out the next step.
Mm-hmm.
How many times, and I know we've had these conversations before. I know we're kind of getting towards the end, but like we've had these conversations before, and in the beginning, especially like a lot of the decisions, you'd be like, well, whatever you think. I'm like, well, fuck, dude. Like,
I would ask you the questions.
I don't know. Yeah. And then I'd ask you the question, and then you would reword the question back to me. And I was like, that's literally the question I just asked you. You're asking the same. You can't answer my question with the question that I asked you. Right. But then like how many times in that, like, I was like, okay, like I'll do it. And then I had to pretend like I knew exactly what I did or ordered or bought or whatever, marketing system we were just used. And then how many times did I have to come out and be like, well, I actually fucked up. We just lost this because I bought this and we actually need this. And it's like, it is what it is. Like, this is what we're going to actually do. And this is why and then all of a sudden I'm like, okay, well, that started to build the confidence in myself to learn that those mistakes happen, that's life, that's business, that's life, that's anything. Right. And knowing that, again, there's a solution to the problem, even though it was the problem that I created, right? There was a solution to that problem that we just have to figure it out. And even if there was a time, which again, I can't recall, and it's not because I'm just trying to be that person, there wasn't a time in our business or in life that, I haven't felt like I've lost my self-confidence. And I think that's because I surround myself with people, and I just don't tolerate people that either are negative or are, bullies, whether it's to myself, to themselves, to other people. Like, I just don't surround myself with them. Right. And so I think I've been well enough in surrounding myself with, people that want to succeed in life. And it's allowed me to not let my self-confidence and self-worth diminish. And so if there was any time that I felt like, worrisome or anything about, what we were doing, it's like, I know I had you to rely on, and vice versa. So if there's any time that you may have been wavering in, even if it was self-confidence or confidence in a skill, you knew I had your back and we were going to figure it out. Mm-hmm. Right. And that even when we were doing the sales training, it was, like you said, it was us three just, selling each other on the same exact thing over and over and over again. Right. And so at least it allowed you to feel more confident in that one general skill. Have I done sales training for a bunch of people before? No, but I just knew how to sell for certain things. And then we just adapted and made it work, figured it out. Right. So before the Instagram one ends, because I know we're like tiptoeing that line, make sure you guys share this show with a friend, and I know the lives are a little late, but it's one of those things where you can catch it on YouTube, you can catch it on the podcast. So even if someone wasn't able to hop on the live, make sure you guys let them know that they can tune in and listen to the replays on the podcast platforms on YouTube if they want to watch our beautiful faces, but or if they want to see Nick just stare at me and blush, but either way. But make sure you guys share with a friend. Make sure you guys give us that review. And like always, guys, we appreciate you guys. We love y'all. We'll see you on the next one.
Later.